Hey, what's up? Well, I'm getting a rare opportunity to make a video. Gotta make it fast. Don't really get these opportunities all that often, but here it goes. Well, what I want to talk about in this video, and I think I finally, I was, dare not say I was having a meltdown, but I had a hard time remembering where I put my Sofia the First dolls that I showed off years ago in a video. And you see, that's the issue. Moving, I hate moving. This is Elena of Avalar, the spin-off series that I hated. King Roland the Second. This is Queen Miranda in yellow. You know, the royal family playset. And then, last but not least, my favorite character, Cedric, the sensational, on Sofia the First. Well, wasn't really having a meltdown, but I had a hard time finding my characters like this. And one thing they did, I love how they take artistic liberties to make things differently on a doll or in books pertaining to the show than they are on the show. And they just decided to omit his brown fingerless gloves just because his hands look so much better without them. And it's easier to draw him that way. I mean, you can always just color his hand brown up to his fingertips, after drawing a normal hand. So I prefer him that way. And I really hate the fact that he's had to spend the past 2 years in, bubble wrap along with the queen and the king and Elena, which makes it an even number of adult males and females, so to speak. And so, yeah, I used to like to display them when I lived in Texas, and I had that obsession, from about 2016. And if he wasn't gay, he would have made a perfect boyfriend for Elena of Avalar. But the problem is that she's physiologically 17, but chronologically like 57 or something like that, 47, not sure. But, if he wasn't gay, she was hiding in the amulet the whole time. And so, there are my dolls that I want to lead into this video by showing. And, I wish I could vow to display them, from here on out. But the good thing about them staying in bubble wrap, see, here's the king and queen, was that they did not get dusty for 2 years. They didn't accumulate 2 extra years worth of dust. And so it's like once I found that they were in a safe place. Oh, and I have the little kids and all that, Amber and James and all of them, and Sophia also in bubble wrap in there. But I got to figure out a place for them. But what I want to talk about in this video is it's a continuation of what I was saying, and how basically I just want to say that it's just so obvious to me that Cedric was vomiting in that one about the Curse of Princess Ivy, which I'm not going to tell you what she has in common with me, because that would be, you would know more about how my name isn't Veronica in real life. But I don't like having an antagonist, that's basically my skin tone and female with that initial. And the fact that she basically zapped Cedric, and she sort of dominated him, it's symbolic of, it's almost like, saying that I want to hurt men when the reality is that I just want to be safe from them. Feminist, contrary to popular belief, we don't want to dominate men. We just don't want to be dominated by men. And men just have this idea that if, that one person has to dominate the other. Well, what I'd really like is to simply not interact with anyone that I don't have to. So anyway, I want to talk about just how it's just so obvious to me that he was vomiting, and how, before I was obsessed with colds, there was always vomit and other gross things that I was obsessed by. And, just wanted to say that it's just so obvious to me. Couldn't be more obvious to me. And I was able to make a GIF, by slowing down, that scene. And I'm going to include that, but it's just so obvious. I even like photoshopped a toilet. He's in the position that someone would get in when leaning over a toilet. And, it looks like he's leaning over, if you wouldn't have them in the flying coach, you could Photoshop a toilet and it would be like Amber is standing by as he throws up in a toilet, if his head wouldn't be hidden. And it's just so obvious to me, that is the position that people get in when they throw up, and so do animals. And, just wanted to say that. Now, if you can't laugh, when you can't laugh about someone kneeling before the toilet, hugging it with food and liquid shooting out of their mouth, there isn't much that really would make you laugh. You just don't have a sense of humor. Just like farting and pooping to an extent. The only thing that kind of kills my humor about pooping is the fact that us girls and women are supposed to be excluded from it. It's like it would be funny, if both genders or all genders could be equally included. But, when you can't laugh about someone puking, not much would make you laugh. And I just don't know, why people are just so averse to it. Or, I don't like the thought of myself puking. I don't like, on the rare occasion that I do it, it's a horrible thing. Me vomiting is not to be taken lightly. But I have an extreme double standard about other people and fictional characters. And what you have to understand is that it's special because, it is Cedric doing it. And it kind of makes you wonder, would it be glittery? Would it be purple? Would it be green? Is he a wizard or a human, or what is he? But, it's special because it's Cedric vomiting. If it was Queen Miranda, it'd still be funny. But it wouldn't be as special. And the fact that he's an antagonist. So, yep, it's just so obvious to me that he threw up. And I will include that, hopefully not, by omitting the sound, which they had the girls screaming and a lot of loud music so that Jess Harnell wouldn't have to pretend to throw up, so that he wouldn't have to make the sound of someone vomiting, like Cheryl Chase, who is almost to the day 5 years older. Oh my gosh, so in real life, Angelica Pickles is 5 years older than Cedric? Oh my gosh, it's weird and creepy to think of it that way. But, yeah, so it's like they play a similar role in the series, but they couldn't be more different as far as demographic and all that. So yeah, anyone vomiting is funny, but an antagonist doing it is special. Especially, when it's someone who is like a freak or a subhuman, like Cedric, and being a sorcerer, someone that's hated. They're both abnormal and hated. And, they've done a lot of bad things. It's like, how can you not laugh at them? And, and just the look on Amber's face, is all the proof that I need. And it was funny because I created like an art project. I wish I could frame it. I wish I could actually like print it out, paint it, and frame it and put it on my wall and have it be Sophia instead of Amber watching him puke. Oh, and the other thing is that the girls' cheeks also got puffy in that scene, but then they turned to the wings of the flying coach so that they wouldn't have to animate them vomiting. And so, it's nothing like Problem Child 2. You're not going to have that graphic, disgusting stuff, that they do with movies like that, or like The Exorcist. But, what do you expect, when they're flying through the air and then they're crash landing? And, what do you think that does to your stomach? mean, unless you know absolutely nothing about biology and or physics. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I just uploaded it to this thing that describes an image. And it's amazing just how accurately AI described that image. So I'll go ahead and post that.
This image depicts a stylized scene featuring a princess and a sorcerer. The sorcerer, Cedric, is hunched over a toilet, seemingly expelling something from his mouth and nose. Princess Amber watches with a shocked expression. The artistic style is reminiscent of a sketch or painting, with muted tones and a somewhat painterly texture applied digitally. The overall effect is unsettling and humorous, juxtaposing the fantastical elements of sorcerer and princess with the mundane and slightly grotesque vomiting. The scene likely suggests a comedic moment within a larger narrative, perhaps highlighting a magical mishap or a moment of unexpected vulnerability for the usually powerful sorcerer. The princess's shocked reaction emphasizes the absurdity of the situation. The style and composition lean towards a darkly comedic narrative, possibly from a children's story or animation aiming at older children due to the slightly morbid subject matter.
Yes, I do what the king commands.
Uh-huh. Then perhaps I should go get Daddy. Oh, I mean the king. And have him command you. I mean the king. And I mean the king. And I mean the king. And
Merlin's mushroom. Quick, Wormy, you have to get that dragon fire before they do. Tell me you got the fire, Wormy. Agitatis Principatio.